So hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Deb. I almost did not record a video today because I was like, tired, don't feel like doing anything. I have smoothie, I have tape on my cover because I washed this cup in the dishwasher. The suction part that's supposed to hold it down to the cup doesn't work. So if I don't have tape holding this down, it will flip out. And I really love the color of this cup, so I don't want to give it away. Like I was saying, I almost didn't record a video for this week because I was like, I'm tired. So what I usually do, I'm very organized. So what I usually do, I have one or two videos like ahead of time so that it's already not edited, but at least shot so that I can edit it and put it on weekly. I try to get it on by Monday night, Tuesday for the next week. So I'm so behind right now because I have nothing, but it's all good. You're getting me in real time. So, I kind of just came back as usual. I'm always running errands. So I came back as usual from running errands. And um, it's like it's 3 o'clock, past 3. So I've been out since 10:45, 11. And so I went to Costco, went to the bank, went to what store I went to, I don't remember. Oh, Target. And then just came back. So I'm just like, famished. Most of the stuff that I went out for was just because I forgot a few things last week that when I did the major shopping for 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, forgot some stuff and I just remembered and went back and did it. So that was what took like most of my time today. I started my garden, so I started to clean up my garden area. I moved 2 garden beds so they're like aligned properly. I'll show it to you guys. Maybe in this video I'll show it to you guys. So I did that. I'm trying to kill up the grass within that area, and I didn't do it for the whole area. I just did it for the part where I put my garden bed on. So I killed the grass there, but I realized if you don't kill the grass in the whole area that you want to plant or you want to place your garden bed in, grass will eventually surround the garden bed area and start growing alongside it. And I don't want that. So I'm trying to kill up the grass around that area. So I did something where I just shifted the garden beds and made them aligned. And then for the flooring, I was going to use garden stones, but I was like, nah, because I also bought patio tiles. You're supposed to put those tiles in your patio, but I'm gonna put it on my grass. So I bought that. I put the weed killer mat under the patio tiles, and then I put the patio tiles on top of that. And so I did that. I made a path that kind of looks okay, right? And then I put coconut core mulch around alongside it. And I like this coconut mulch or coconut core mulch because it's red. Eventually it turns brown, but it's a more earth friendly, right, solution to mulch. Mulch is basically from wood, right? Sometimes it's dyed to black or red. But I feel this is that's close because this is made from coconut husk. So it does deteriorate after a while, but it's still, at least you know you're getting close to nature, right? But not too close, but close to nature. So I did that and I looked at the color of the coconut core to the patio tiles that I have on ground. I have gray patio tiles and then I have a wood colored patio tile. I'll show it to you guys. It's probably like going off your head as I talk. But so I put that and then on the corners, I just put the coconut coir mulch. And this was the remainder mulch that I had from last season. So I went back, I bought it from Costco's, by the way. Costco. I would say Costco's. Costco. No S in Costco. Costco. So I bought from Costco. So I went back to see if they have it out, and they don't have it out yet. They have a lot of gardening stuff out at Costco. I'm gonna show you guys the garden bed. How about that? I'll show you guys that. And then I wanted to talk to you guys about some tips on growing your soil. Like people, I met a couple of people while like picking up plants, while looking at seeds. And you know, a lot of people are just like scared, apprehensive to start their garden, or apprehensive to buy plants and take care of plants because they always say, "Oh, I kill them," I blah blah blah. And it's just about understanding the way plants behave. Plants are all living things. You understand their characteristics. They all have a character. You understand their characteristics. You treat them like human beings, they will grow. They're like babies. I call them babies because they're literally like babies. You have to learn what they like, what they don't like. If they like sun, and you just learn by trial and error, and eventually you get great at it. So I find myself encouraging like people who will say, "Oh, I kill plants. I don't know how to do plants." I just get the most easiest plants to plant. So I want to give you guys tips on the most easiest plants to have in your house if you don't have green thumb, or also if you want to start gardening, the most easiest seeds to germinate. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Just walking into my garden. Do you see how much? Look how neat it looks so far. Like it's very neat compared to how ruggedy it looked a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, disregard that mat. It's going away. I'm using it for now as a grass killer or weed killer. So it's covering that part. Let's go in. All right, so as you can see, the patio tiles that I was talking about. See, like I got the gray ones, and then I got the wood colored ones. These are so cute. So like where I did not place the patio tiles, I'm gonna place the coconut core mulch, which is what I was talking about. Do you see? So this looks so cute, right? Doesn't it? So I'm waiting for more to be delivered at Costco so I can just fill out these sides. So I just did this area, right? As you can see, I did this area. So weed killers on here. So I want to place more mulch here. Oh yeah, by the way, I put some mulch here too. Look at the color of that. Look at the color against the tile. It looks so beautiful. So yeah, so I want to place those mulch here. It comes in like blocks. Um, you guys can see me. Yeah, it comes in like blocks. And then you have to put it into a wheelbarrow. You have to put it into water and have it just dissolve, and then it turns into like mulch. So it's dehydrated. That's the best way to describe it. It's dehydrated into a block. You put moisture and water in it, and it just dissipates and opens up. So I like that. So as you can see, I put cardboard on the floor. This can serve as your weed killer that you buy in the store. If you have cardboard, I don't have any more, so I'm just waiting to get more, or just buy more weed killer. So I want to get rid of all the grass around here. You know, just get rid of all of them. Some here around here. I put some weed killer there. As you can see, there's no grass in some areas, but I want to just kill up everything. So I moved this white garden bed and this white garden bed. This one was a bit further up, and this one was further up. So I just shifted it downwards towards the gate here, and then this one I moved it down so that when you walk, you have space in between the beds to walk. I'm not bringing a wheelbarrow in here, so that's okay. So you have space to walk. See, like this, you have space to walk around the perimeters. So I like that. I filled the beds with dirt, so you can see. Maybe in my previous video, dirt was like somewhat a little bit lower than this. I filled it to the top, most likely. I filled it at the top, just because if I want to plant anything deeper, I want to go in deep. I don't want to worry about not having enough soil. So I did that for that. I do want to fill this bed up a little bit more with some soil because see, it's not fully to the top. I want it to be at the top. This one I filled. You can see it's up to the top. This one I filled, and that one I filled. So I'm happy with overall look or how the garden is shaping up so far because it looks neater. So yeah, that's what I'm working with. This space here, don't know what I'm going to do. I was going to buy a bench to just have it, just they have a bench here We're gonna sit and just stare as the plants grow, but I don't know. I don't think I am. But so far, I like this. This is what I'm working with. We're making progress. The best tip I have, the number one tip. Okay, so it's going to be broken down into two. It'll be gardening and it'll be also plants or indoor plants, right? Um, but for gardening, the first step that you need to take is to find out what zone you're in. In terms of gardening, you have to find out what zone you're in. And the zone basically determines the hardness of the soil, right? So it depends on what area in the United States that you're in. So certain zones don't allow you to plant certain crops, or it's not that don't allow you to plant certain crops. Certain crops will not thrive in that zone. So you need to know what zone works for you. So in my zone, I'm zone 7A. So in my zone, I can plant things like carrots, um, cucumber, what is this then? Cabbage, potatoes, radishes, tomatoes, like those kind of things thrive in my area. So I can plant those. And so the importance of knowing what zone you're in is that you can better plan your garden, plan what you're going to plant year round. Like potatoes, like carrots, they are cool weather crops, meaning they don't like the high heat that comes in the summer in our area. So because they're cool weather crops, you can plant them during I would say during the last frost. But yeah, right before, after the last frost, you can plant them. The importance of knowing your zone is just basically knowing what crops to plant. Number one, the most important thing to do as a beginner gardener is to just know your zone. Once you know your zone, then you can then go ahead and say, okay, when the second thing you need to know is when the last frost in your area will take place. Again, it depends on where you live, it depends on your zone. So everybody is different. It's not one rule applies to all, but everybody's different. So second, you find out when your last frost is. Usually in my area, it's usually April, let's say April 11th or 10th. April 10th to about April 20 something. The last frost um takes place during those in between those days. I don't know. But so that means that I can then go ahead and plant my crops outside, knowing that they're not going to die from frost. So it's really important to know your last frost date in your area. But just because you have a last frost date like April, let's say April 13th is your last frost, we're just throwing a number, a date. Say April 13th is your last day of frost, right? um you can take your seeds and plant it directly outdoors, yes, but the time that it'll take to reach maturity, maybe pushing it towards the fall season, or for you to get the most out of that crop, you probably won't get the most out of that crop because you planted it so late. So advice for most gardeners is to start your seedlings indoors if you have space. If you don't have space, understandably, you can't really start it indoors. But if you do have space to grow seedlings indoors, I advise you to do that because you get the most out of your crop. So by the time the last frost date hits and you transfer your seedlings outdoors, right? They mature, and then you kind of get, not kind of get, because it depends on what crop you're planting, but you get the most out of your crop because you planted it indoors. So that's the benefit of starting your seedlings indoors. Not to say that, because last year I started planting in May. It still yielded a lot for me. Like tomatoes, especially okra, especially the bok choy, my kale, like everything. I got one use out of my kale, one use out of my maybe 1 or 2 use out of my snap peas. The okra just kept on going. So it depends on what crop you're planting. But for the majority of the crops, it's better to start indoors and then plant it outside. Like peppers, I didn't get a yield from peppers. I only got 1 to 3 peppers from my, I think four. I had 4 pots of peppers, not good because I didn't start indoors. So this year I learned from last year, and last year was my first year gardening in this place because we just moved here. So I just started. I learned from that. So this year I'm planning very well in terms of gardening. I'm planning my crops very well too. Um, yeah, so those I think are the three crucial things to like starting your own garden, because if you know your zone, you know when your last frost date is, and you also know, or you also start your seedlings indoors, you have a high chance of, you know, growing a very healthy crop. Now, there's a lot that goes underneath, like making sure you have a healthy crop. Your soil, the type of soil that you use, the type of compost or fertilizer that you use. If you're doing an organic garden, you have to be very careful about what kind of fertilizers you use in your garden. For me, last year, I didn't get a lot of like pests. I'm thankful for that. Although I got a few with my water leaves, I didn't get a lot in my other crops, so I was blessed in that area. What else do I have to share? Now, if you want to go to the nitty gritty of like actually gardening, there's a lot that goes with it. I know tomatoes, like again, when you find out your zone, you then find out what kind of crops you can plant, and then you can then go out and buy the seeds and start the seedlings. Knowing your zone is very important. But I think the hardest part of gardening for me is the waiting period, where you're just like you planted your seedlings or you planted your seeds, and you're just like, come on, I should grow some crops I can just eat you. That is the hardest part of gardening. It's just waiting to see your yield. Um, Tomatoes do really well here, so I went crazy with my tomatoes this year. Like I planted different varieties of tomatoes, so I'm so excited about that. Yeah, that's it. Now, when we go to indoor plants, again, I told you like I meet people who are like so like scared to like buy plants, and it's like don't be scared. They're just plants. I mean, they die, you learn, you grow from it, but they're just plants. So I have a green thumb for plants. Now, if you know you're somebody that travels a lot, if you know you're not home a lot, having a live plant at home may or may not be a good idea, depending on how well you create a watering system. And by that, I mean, some people, there's ways to water plants when you travel, right? I traveled for a week one time, and then I had plants in the house. They survived when we came back because there are techniques. So if you know there are techniques to apply when you know you're traveling and you can't be there to take care of the plants. As a golden rule for me and the type of plants that I have in my house, for example, I have some monstera plants, I have some mother tongue plants, I have rubber plants, rubber plants. I have plants that don't die so easy. Aloe vera, um, I have plants that don't die so easy, so they don't require a lot of like. They're not very like, oh my gosh, you have to take care of me every time. I forgot the word for it, but they're not very needy. So overall, the plants have survived because they have a very nice temperament, right? I have one plant that is just you just have that one baby that's just like, makes you not want to get another baby. But I have that one baby, and that's the peace lilies. Oh my gosh. Peace lilies are very temperamental plants because if you don't water it, it likes water every two, it likes a moist soil. That's basically it. It loves a moist soil. So peace lilies, if you don't water it enough, they'll just slump over, showing you that hey, I need water. Hey, you didn't feed me. They'll remind you that you didn't give them water. They'll remind you that they're dry. That's what I love about peace lilies. But when they slump over and remind you that they need water and you don't give it water, they start to die quickly. So with peace lilies, that's the only temperamental plant that I have, and I make sure to implement all kinds of techniques to make sure that they don't die. I have a watering bulb. I water it every 3 to 5 days. Um, because they don't like their soil to be dry. They like a moist soil. So I do that. And I notice that's been helping. But if God forbid if I have to travel for 2 weeks or so, how am I going to do this? I don't know, but I would create a watering system that allows my plant to be watered regularly. So if this peace lily, I know it's a temperamental plant, I would probably put 5 or 6 or 7 bulbs of, I don't know. I've not thought that far. But when you get house plants, make sure you get house plants that are less temperamental, that are easy to take care of. And once you've worked your way up, you can now get the more demanding plants. So that's my best advice for people who are scared to have indoor plants. Just get plants that you can do it. Mother-in-law's tongue, the Monstera, rubber plants, those are really good plants to have in your house. They're very low maintenance and you water once a week. Sometimes I forget to water my rubber plants on my mother-in-law tongue's plant. They just basically for 2 weeks sometimes and they just survive. So those are low temperamental. So just get low temperamental plants. Uh, that is all my advice. There are a lot of gardening like info out there. Just do your research, Google, find out what your area nursery has, and just go and talk to people who work there. They'll educate you on plants. I know when I go to the garden section, I'm always talking to people. I go to the nursery, I'm always talking to people because I learn that way too as well. People who are experienced gardeners, I learned from them too. So just go out there, seek information. The information is out there. You just have to look for it and find it, right? So I would say talk to people. Read up on gardening if it's something you want to get into. It's really therapeutic. But yeah, that's my advice. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well. And thank you for watching this video. To my new subscribers, welcome. Oh my gosh, welcome again. I'm so happy you're here. And to my returning subscribers, oh my gosh, you guys are the best. You watch my video, I see the specific few will keep coming back and watching my video. Thank you. I see you guys. Today is Monday, so you'll be seeing this video on Wednesday. So first day of spring, I'm so excited. I just thank God for having me see spring 2023. You gotta say thank you, Jesus. But so thank you, God, for letting me see spring 2023. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye.